holding me close, feeling your fire, touching my face with your kiss. That's what I miss. Oh, yeah. In the morning when I'm meeting you, this is how I really feel about you. When I'm missing you and I'm kissing you, and I'm hoping that you feel it too. When I'm thinking of you, 'cause no matter what I do, can't stop thinking about you. Can't stop thinking about you. You wrap me up in your love. Feel the warmth of your presence surrounding me. You fit me like I'm your glove, 'cause we're in love. Ooh. You carry me in your light, hold me up with your love and devotion. Never will I leave your side. I want
decision.
Turn this track up.
Anything for you, to be my wife. I seen you 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is now time for the Indie Live spot right here on your station GHP Radio, your independent music source.
another week is good. That's good. I got the laptop here. I thought the laptop would be better than... And the sun was up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Indie Live spot right here on GHP Radio live stream on YouTube. And glad you can be here today on the show. We're very excited about our guest today. We have a great guest today. And in fact, you just got through hearing some music from his latest collection. And we're very, very happy to have Mr. Dave Howard on the show today. And Grizz is here with me as well. So welcome to the show, Mr. Dave Howard.
Yay! Glad to have you, Dave.
Buddy here, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This has been kind of cool.
Yeah, man. Well,
yeah.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us today, and really enjoyed some of this wonderful music that you have here on this latest CD, the Dave Howard Initiative. And well, we actually played a couple there just there at the beginning here. It was the Infinite Blue, and then it also went into Obsidian Beach as well. So both of those were really, really nice. And of course, I've heard some of the other tracks as well, which we will get into a little bit. But very, very, very nice music, man. And welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Griselda and I have been in touch. I don't know how many. Has it been? It's been over a year.
Years, yeah, almost 2 years, yeah.
Oh wow!
And I've been trying to get you ever since then to get on the show.
Okay.
It just didn't work out yet.
Scheduling, maybe schedule stuff, or whatever.
But I'm glad it worked out this time.
Yeah, this is great.
Great.
So
finally we got you on the show.
So yeah, cool. So you played Infinite Blue,
that one and Obsidian Beach.
So Infinite Blue was the tune I wrote. I wrote most of these, or a good portion of them, in Italy when I was in Italy, and I spent a lot of time there for the last probably eight years. I've been spending the summers over there.
Oh.
So, obviously, my schedule as a professor, gives me the summers off if I choose. So,
right.
So it's good. So, these were written probably about 3 years ago. I don't know. Should we talk a little bit about the CD itself?
Well, yeah, you were talking about how you wrote these songs when you were in Italy. So, yeah, tell us the backstory about that.
Yeah, I mean, I could. Some tunes were written and recorded at various times. The initial cut was written. I remember that was written in the house where my wife was born. Still in the family, and it's up in the mountains in Calabria, and the last tune on the CD was actually written for that town, which hopefully we'll get to listen to. But I can remember, yeah, the Infinite Blue, and I started, and I wanted to write a tango-ish type of thing, and it's got kind of some Carlos Santana-ish kind of influences, but that was written probably the first tune, and then Monteboni, the last tune. Then that's just solo guitar, and I think I tracked it. It's two guitar tracks, but the recording was done was done at various stages. The rhythm section, drums, bass, guitar, or basic guitar tracks, and there were some sketch piano tracks that were done back. It's got to be 3 years ago. on, I think, 5 or 6 of the tunes, Mohu Hatsu, which in Italy, which means just do it, or let's do it, let's go do it, something like that. I don't know how it literally translates.
Translates, right?
Okay.
But yeah, it's there were things that I did. I started out writing that with more of a blues idea, and it's kind of based. But so we're back talking about Infinite Blue. I had spoke to the artist that did the cover,
which is a cool cover, by the way.
Yeah.
And Pietra was down in Calabria, and I had met her at one of her showings, and I gave her one of my other CDs, and I said, "Listen, I'd be interested in you doing something for the CD cover, but could you listen to my stuff?" I didn't want to just say, "Could you do this? Could you do this?" I said, "Could you listen to my music?" And so, she listened to the music, and I said, then I periodically sent her stuff that I was writing, and she said that she was listening to Infinite Blue, and she wrote, and she came up with this, which is gotten a couple of different nicknames, but I won't get into that. But yeah, so the front cover here, and then you said you played Obsidian Beach, and I knew Obsidian Beach. That's more of a kind of a straight ahead jazz thing, and I named that after a beach that's and I can't remember the area, but it's all this obsidian stone because of the volcanic eruptions or that near the beach.
Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's really cool because, I mean, for me at the beach, it doesn't stick to you. It's great. It was just yeah. And I happen to like the beach. I might not sound like it, but I do like the beach. But yeah, that's more of the straight ahead jazz thing that's on here. I guess Ginseng too. But we'll have to. Well, maybe I'll get into the other tunes after we play them, after we listen to them. But the CD kind of evolved. Like I said, some of the recording was done earlier, the rhythm section, and it sat in a can for a while. And I was going to go back at one studio and redo some stuff. And then on Infinite Blue, the accordion was added. I wanted to do some kind of different instrument. So Michael actually played accordion on it. So it was kind of it was kind of interesting how that tune evolved.
Yeah, and I liked that too. I liked the hearing that.
I mean because I'm in the process of writing. We're in the process of doing a live CD, which there's 7 tunes done, and then I'm in the process of writing for more of a funk-based CD, which is kind of right now either going to be trio or quartet. And I've been pushing this quartet that lately, and it's kind of, I have 2. I have one based in the States and one based in Italy or Europe. Okay. So it's pretty much quartet or trio. Lately more quartet. So be it saxophone, guitar, bass, drums, or guitar, piano, bass, drums.
Right.
And again, you know, it's interesting. I don't know if it's the Berkeley thing. I don't know. Maybe it's my influences. Maybe it's growing up in New Haven. I was exposed to all different types of music. So my interest kind of pretty diverse in regards to even my writing. I write kind of with the whole idea of inside out kind of writing, like a lot of modern music. And now here I go into the professor thing.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Teach us.
And Gary, I mean, you both understand a lot of contemporary music is written bottom up with bass and drums, and I tend to think that a lot of times I write middle out.
Right.
I have first. I do the chordal thing first and come up with a melody, and then more of the groove thing. But you know, it depends. A lot of these tunes evolved a little bit different, and than others. I guess. Yeah, Montebone might be the nice next one to play. This one I wrote for the town, and they actually use it on their website.
Really?
Yeah, and cool. I thought it was a little. I actually recorded it right to my laptop, the main tracks, with the guitar I had with me, and I actually recorded the basic tracks you're hearing over there, and then they were mixed and mastered here. So that one's kind of interesting, but written for the town.
Wow.
But technology sure makes it really cool for you to do so much these days, isn't it? It's really. Yeah,
it's kind of interesting, and I don't really feel like I have a real. I mean, I have a handle on it, but not as good as some of the students I have. Oh my
goodness! Yeah, I can imagine. Man.
They do the stuff they do. The stuff they do, and there's a lot of teaching at Berkeley. There's a lot of professors that have just so like this high tech efficiency. Great. So I'm around that all the time, but and Michael Johnson, who's in the band, who I played with last night, and who sent you the MP3s, is real great at that, real good. He's kind of my go-to guy.
Awesome.
When there's situations.
Well, man, let's talk a little bit about your bringing up and stuff. I mean, into the music. I mean, before you became this great professor now that you are with Berkeley and doing all this wonderful great music and things like that, you know what I mean? Let's go back and talk a little bit about how did you actually come into the music, how long you've been actually playing, and how did all that started for you?
I grew up outside in Hamden, Connecticut, outside of New Haven. And, back in the 60s, I was in high school in the late 60s. I graduated. I was supposed to have graduated a little bit early, but I graduated in 72, 71, 72.
You forgot what year you graduated?
72. I mean, it was great. Growing up in New Haven was great. Yeah. I saw him live. I saw Woolsey Hall was the big place. I saw Joplin.
Wow.
And these aren't jazz. I mean, not the jazz people are coming in a sec, but Clapton, Cream, who was always a big influence. But growing up in New Haven was great. And then my father played piano. My father was a optometrist, but played piano. So most of the nights I'd go to bed and he'd be practicing piano. So it was great. But he used to take me out on Sunday afternoons. He got me started on more of the jazz thing. And New Haven was a great area for jazz. I mean, there were a lot of people coming through. It was close to New York. Well, it still is close to New York. It's close to New York. So, and then because of Yale, I remember seeing Joni Mitchell. I remember seeing all the folk people at Yale. And then a lot of, like I said, more rock people. But my father used to take me. I remember early on Sunday after I got to see Duke Ellington.
Ooh.
And Count Basie. I remember sitting on the side of the stage for Buddy Rich.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember he played in Hamden, Connecticut at a bowling alley.
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
It was great experience. I mean, but and then even high school, I grew up and went to high school with some great musicians. A lot of people that are doing a lot of stuff. Ted Jensen, who I think part owner of Sterling Sound in New York, who mix and masters all of Matheny and Clapton stuff.
That's cool.
Wow.
Michael Gregory Jackson, who I'm still friends with, who went on to play with a lot of more avant-garde jazz players. more. I can't. Bob Cozen played with Ray Charles, Buddy Rich. Mark Miranda, who I'm in touch with, who just had he wrote 2 tunes on the last Ringo Starr CD.
Oh wow!
So it was cool, and so growing up there was great. A lot of it was because of Yale, I think. And then early on, I must have been 15, 16. My father had a patient who had a big band. He said, "Oh, we're looking for a guitar player." I remember my father came home and said, "Oh, Buddy said they're looking for a guitar player, and he wanted to know if you wanted to do it."
Wow.
And here I was, like, so I got a couple of the charts. I got like 10, 15 charts, and I remember bringing them to my guitar teacher, and my guitar teacher saying, "Okay, you got to study this stuff." Yeah, and it was playing a lot of chords. I mean, it was chordal playing. I mean, it was boom chick, you know, big band stuff. And you know, they straightened me out a lot of times. You know, I was either playing too loud. There's one thing, not playing right, but when you play wrong, loud. But
can we say sore thumb?
So they straightened me out. I learned a lot. I learned a lot young doing that. And then I had some great teachers early on before college. I can't. Some Italian guy in New Haven, Joe Teneri, and I don't even know if he's still around. But he was a big influence. Got me into playing chord solos and that kind of thing. So, some solo guitar stuff, which I'd like to do on maybe the next CD, maybe 1 or 2. Some other teachers, but he was a big influence, and he got me hooked up with Sal Salvador. Sal Salvador, who has many books out, is passed away. It's got to be 25, 30 years ago. And so I studied with him for quite some time, and then he got me accepted to University of Bridgeport. And that's, I mean, I went to school, great guitar players there, Tony Perrone, who's still on the scene in Connecticut, New York. Dave Weckl.
Okay.
Dave Weckl was there. There were some great people there. But
wow.
You know, growing up in New Haven, so I got to play played places. It used to be called George and Harry's before it was Toad's Place.
Oh.
Great music venue in New Haven. But I started playing out more rock pop stuff. A lot of blues oriented stuff. Stuff. And I think I was then I had taken off to University of Bridgeport. My parents got me set up to. I was a psych major for 3 months, and then I quit, and then I got accepted to music school. Okay. But studying with Sal Salvador was a great experience. It was good. I mean, he got my chordal thing together, and I studied with him pretty much through my undergrad college because he was teaching at the University of Bridgeport. Okay. And there were other great teachers there. Guy Lumia, I remember, he was the violinist who played a lot of those old CTI jazz recordings. And he and a lot of those guys that were at University of Bridgeport at the time are still doing some stuff now. And then growing up in New Haven, Ed Cherry, who's in New York now, great guitar player, played with Dizzy Gillespie. So there. So those people were around. Jane Bloom was at Yale. You know Jane Bloom, the saxophonist. So you know, there was that kind of atmosphere.
That's a great atmosphere.
Wow.
Sure.
Cool.
It's great. So that's why the influences in my writing is. I used to dabble a little bit in some Latin stuff. a lot of bossa nova-ish type.
I love that stuff.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
for a guitar player, it's great. I don't consider myself a Latin guitar player, but you know, bossa nova for sure.
Absolutely.
And on one of the CDs I played, I think some of the earlier stuff that you can see on my website, the davehowardmusic.com. You can hear entire tunes written that are more bossa nova based. I played with a group out of Rhode Island when I was in college, the Joe Perillo Ensemble, and I was one of the primary writers, me and Joe. So, and now we're getting kind of into the college thing, but I quit college numerous times. I quit college. I went into a college professor, but I quit college numerous times to go on the road. Different things. John Sands group, and that started out as almost just a groove kind of disco dance thing, and then it kind of got more into bluesing. We opened up for Willie Dixon for a little bit.
Wow.
Met Kate Taylor. The Taylor thing. On the road with that. I forget the guitar player who used to play with her. So, am I just talking too much?
Oh, you're doing fine.
No,
man.
you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. I was in the one of your tunes, one of the tracks on your Infinite Blue, Ida and Paolo.
Ida and Paolo, yeah. Yeah, my wife's cousins. Two brilliant. I love both of them. They are. She's an archaeologist. And they live in Avellino, Italy, and she is. You have to contact her before you dig anywhere in the town or in that location.
That region.
Yeah, in that region. So she's got a big time job, and the thing that impressed me is she has more Mike Bloomfield and Bob Dylan recordings than I've ever seen. And if Mike Bloomfield was who I saw growing up in New Haven twice, was a real big influence. But so they're very cool. They have 3 sons. They're all musicians. And Luigi still contacts me about guitar stuff. He's a great guitar player. And they've always really supported me a lot. When I'm over there, I stay with them a lot if I'm up around that area. And they come to a lot of festivals that I played in Italy. They came to Rochella Festival this past year. They weren't in the area, but the previous 2-3 years they would come to the festivals. So good.
No, because that song, when I first heard it, I don't know if it was just me or, that I was imagining this, but there's parts where the piano comes through, and it kind of reminded me of Vince Guaraldi for some reason. Yeah,
it's a kind of a jazz waltz, and so yeah, I wrote that over there. I think I might have written that. I wrote that in Avellino, but I didn't finish it. It's pretty much the basis. The A section is kind of a open kind of thing, and but it's funny that you mentioned the piano thing, because the piano was added. The piano was overdubbed later after the rhythm section for that had been.
Yeah, like I said, the style just reminded me of Vince Guaraldi.
Yeah, and it's in 3, but it's interesting. That tune was kind of done. So the initial rhythm section with guitar, what I call ghost tracks, where I play just so I get the bass tracks and drum tracks, and with the intention that I was going to redo mine.
Okay,
so that was done that way, and the piano was added before I went in and did a lot of my parts. So so a lot of these were kind of layered.
Yeah.
Like your arranger's thought process, and that's what I teach. I teach arranging, so
yeah. How long you been teaching as well?
This is coming into my 30th year at Berkeley.
Really?
Wow, 30 years.
So and I'm in what's called a retirement cycle. So I have 3 years where they have me down to 2 days.
Oh, okay.
Which gives me a lot more free time. So that's why I'm now at the point looking into management. I'd like to do a lot more of this kind of thing, a lot more radio stuff, a lot more, the kind of interview things. But I'm looking for management and booking, and I'm in the process now. I've got a girl taking care of a lot of stuff, Nicole Roberts, who's did my website and taking care of a lot of that. So I'm really happy. She's brilliant, and young and knows the branding thing.
Right.
And I've because of my background, I like the jazz thing, but I do so much more that I'm looking for and I'm into so much different stuff that I'm looking for a different kind of branding than just the jazz thing. I've always kind of been into the smooth jazz thing and groove stuff. You know what I'm saying? Groove based.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, because of the station. So, but yeah, Eden Paulo. I really love the tune, and most of the time, most of the live gigs we do that tune. We just started doing Infinite Blue a little bit different. I've always in Italy the whole summer for the tours I've done, and I played 30 gigs in 3.5 months. One large festival. I did a lot of clinics. Clinic things are very cool. Usually there's a clinic and a concert, so
nice.
Yeah,
keeps you pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They usually want you to stay busy when they do that stuff. I went to Italy back in 2006 for Berkeley. They have a thing in Umbria at Umbria Jazz, and that was very, very cool. I mean, there are a lot of guitar department people that go. I think they usually take 2 or 3 guitar players. This year, that year, I had already been in the arranging department, out of the guitar department, and not doing any part-time teaching or anything in the guitar department. And I got asked to go, and it was good. I think a lot of it is because I've been there so much and spent so much time.
Right.
But
cool. Very cool.
I'm really looking to branch out too. This summer I'm looking to get into. Last year we were there, Prague and Budapest, and get up there and do more. Because of the family thing, I hung around Italy quite a bit, and I was able to get quite a bit over there and teaching over there because of the family thing. But
absolutely
good. But cool. Branch out. So, but yeah. So maybe the next tune we should listen to should be Ida and Paula.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Yeah. And
sounds good.
We'll do that right now, and then of course we'll come back. And if you just tuned in, we are talking to Dave Howard, and he is our guest today. I'm very excited about it. They got some great music. Played some selections earlier. We're gonna play some more, and then we'll be back to talk with him some more. So you keep it locked right here, and yeah, we'll be right back. So stay tuned.
every time you go away.
Every time you leave, it takes all I have to keep from begging you to stay.
Life without your tender touch isn't life at all.
How can I go on
when you're gone? Every time you go away.
Take me away from the time we first met. My heart was beset. I knew I was yours that day. Me and you, a pas de deux. Nothing could tear us apart. After all of this time, time our prose and our rhyme, our love is the highest art. Every time you kiss me, blues seem to melt away, leaving my troubled day far behind me. This may be hyperbole, that doesn't change how I feel. They can say what they want, belittle and taunt, but my love for you is real. So that's a you better so that take me away from the time we first met. My heart was beset. I knew I was yours that day. Me and you, apart to do, nothing could tear us apart. After all of this time, our prose and our rhyme, our love
No, we're on
is
the
the
third one.
highest art. Every time you kiss me.
Oh, you went into the large vocal thing.
Yeah, you and I.
We did, and
You went into You and I. That's the single vocal thing. But
Right, and the one before that, I forgot what's the name.
play Every Time You Go yet?
That's
Yes.
the one that was playing after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you should listen. I'd like to listen to that whole thing if you can.
yeah,
Whole thing.
Yeah, they played the whole thing. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I wrote the tune. You know, and my writing. I'll write a tune. You know, around the house here, I have bits and snippets of tunes that stuff. I don't know why I'm doing this. But snippets.
I do the same thing, Dave. That's not a problem.
that I write down, and I have bits and pieces around. And when I started writing that, I knew it was going to be an AABA type tune. So when I got done with it, it kind of had a bossa feel to it, a little bit of a bossa nova feel. So if you hear that one, I'll play more of it. And then I thought, wow, this would be a cool one to lyrics. So I tried to write lyrics. No, I tend to check them out the next day or hours down the road, and I'll just go, no, this isn't it. This isn't gonna do it. So I was talking to Michael, and Michael said, well, let's co-write something. Give it to me. And so I gave it to him, and then I don't know, it was a week later, he came back with the lyrics, and I just said, wow. And it was great. So we got together, and we would, and a lot of times when I write tunes, like I said, I get snippets, so I'll put these tunes together, and then I'll make sure, and they'll be all handwritten before I put them into Finale or any of the notation programs. Right. And I usually won't sequence them. Sometimes I'll sequence things just to kind of see how they work sequence, but I don't do that a lot, as much as I teach some classes using that stuff. But I'll have a rehearsal, and I'll get guys together, and I'll see if they fly, you know, if the tunes really work. Then once that procedure's over, then they're ready to either be recorded or to play out live. You know what I'm saying? And so that one I can remember Mike and I doing once or twice on gigs, and then he said, Dave, you know, I'd like to take the tune and arrange it for, Michael has a vocal group, Green Line Extension, and they're great, and amazing vocalists, and as you can this record. And so he did up the arrangement, and then they came in after we did the initial recording of the rhythm section. We did go back in and kind of do a little bit of tweaking after that they were in, but yeah, I really like that. I'd like to do more. One thing that we've been doing at some live gigs, the Initiative Band and the vocal group kind of do a split bill sometimes. We've done that 2 times. And it's kind of cool, where we play as a rhythm section behind them, doing their stuff, and they do a lot of it a cappella, but usually make that a featured tune that every time you go, which like I said, is the first experience doing that kind of thing. But we thought about doing some more of that, which would be kind of cool. And then if you listen, there's a soli section where they go off and doing the whole kind of like scat thing, but Michael wrote this line, and I don't know if he's listening, but he gave me it, and we were supposed to record the guitar doubling it. We never got to it. I just think I just got to the point where I just said, no, I'm done with the recording. But it's I really love that tune on the recording. So, but yeah, it was different, much different to me. As much as I've written for vocalists before, but not on my own recordings.
Right.
I mean, I've had, if you listen back to the recording I did with Kenwood Denard, I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kenwood. He played with Jocko. He played with Pat Martino. Pat Martino was a big influence, but Pat Martino, and he's on the Souvenir CD that I did, and yeah, I mean, there was some vocalese kind of stuff where I had a vocalist but no lyrics, and that was always interesting because I'd hire somebody to do it or get somebody to do it, and they'd say, well, what do you want me to sing? I said, can you just kind of scat sing the melody? And I can remember on one of my tunes on that recording, we had to come up with the syllables. It was kind of a weird, but it was that was a very cool experience. So, but yeah, I want to do more of that, the vocal thing. I think it might fall more into the funk kind of groove vein, maybe, which will be a little bit different type of thing, which would be very cool. But yeah, but more of that. You and I was just another tune that I had written years back, and once I heard the Every Time You Go and the way he did that, I said, "Yeah, do you want to write lyrics to this?" And then he wrote lyrics to that, and I said, "Well, let's get this recording out." So we didn't do it with the big 6-7 vocalist kind of thing, but so that's that. I mean, he's brilliant with that. That whole band, the Green Line Extension, and their names on the CD. Did you guys see the back of the CD? I should have. I'll send.
We don't have the CD, so we just got the MP3s.
Yeah, that's right. So you don't? Did I send? I didn't send you artwork or anything, but this CD is kind of cool. The artwork, it's a painting, but the back is like a backside of the painting.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
You know, it is microscopic, so I'm having a hard time. I can't read.
Hey, I understand. I'm right there with you sometimes on that one.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, if we listen, I could talk a little bit more about Montebaoni was, like I said, I wrote it up there and I recorded it, not on my laptop that I had there. I recorded both parts, and then and they were tweaked a little bit in the studio. But I had brought a special guitar that Mick Goodrick sold me, which is a Klein. I don't know if you guys are familiar with guitar makers. Klein makes this ergonomic shaped guitar, which is very, and this guitar is wonderful. And I had that with me in Europe, and I wrote it and recorded on that, and I went directly into it. I had a small interface, so I was able to record it. Cool. And then Michael did a little bit of magic in the studio, and we added, you know, some more EQing and some effects on it. But yeah, so that one, you know, I used to stroll around the town, and it's like a medieval town. I mean, it's old, it's like old. And I got back and I started, I think it was over a course of like 4 or 5 days, just wrote this tune. And also at that same time, I had studied quite a bit with Mick Goodrick, so I was looking to do something like that, more of a solo guitar kind of thing, or have not yet done a whole thing, but I think maybe the next recording I might try to do a little bit more. You know, writing influences. I have a lot of guitar influences. I mean, I like a lot of contemporary guitar players, and but like Mohu Hatsu, which again kind of roughly translates to "let's do it" or "let's go do it" or "do it now" or something.
I like that too. Yeah.
My wife's sick. My wife is too sick for me to drag her up here and do any trans.
Yeah, let her rest.
Yeah, but yeah, that tune was solely written in the studio. So it was a lot different, and tracked. It's myself and yeah, Steve came in and played some keyboards, but Michael and I did. Michael played bass on it. We did drums too, and all the guitars were done tracking. So it's interesting. And then 2 of the tunes we called in a brilliant violinist student at Berkeley, Morgan Weidinger, who's up in New York now. and she came in and did both of these tunes at first or second take. I've always enjoyed, you know, like I said, Stefan Grappelli, Gene Lupanti, and all that. You know, I was always influenced by. I loved guitar players that played real legato, like Holdsworth and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Moho Hatsu was. I thought, like on the B section, we actually kind of got that Mahavishnu orchestra sound. So that was kind of cool. But again, you know,
now, was that particular track, is that actually originally written by you, or? Yeah,
no, everything on the CD was written by me.
Oh, nice.
There were co-writes with Michael. He wrote lyrics, and he did the arrangement on the largest vocal tune, on the multiple vocals. But yeah, on most of on all the CDs, yeah, I mean, when I play live, I do a couple Carla Bley covers. You familiar with Carla Bley? Great writer, has a lot of tunes. Steve Swallow, Steve Swallow is her husband now.
Okay.
Steve Swallow's been around. He used to play with Mick Goodrick a lot, but Carla has a great tune, beautiful ballad called Lawns, to do that. I'd like to record that. Healing Power, which was a tune that it was on. Remember, there was a TV show that Dave Sanborn used to host, and she was on, and they did that, and that's where I first heard it years and years ago.
Okay.
That was kind of a funky thing, which we tend to do really funky. But you know, the earlier CDs, you know, I went through a real Metheny thing, which I love. Pat Metheny's great. I saw him this summer, and I got to chat with him a little bit about, you know, just about Berkeley, and I met him numerous times at Berkeley or around, but he's great musician. It's interesting because I got to this concert early, and I got to hear a little bit of his sound check. He sound checks for about an hour by himself.
Nice.
Wow.
And usually I think he instructs everybody to leave. But yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, I like Julian Lage. Julian Lage, who is a new guy telly guy out on the scene now, who was a student of Mick Goodrick's. Great guitar player on the scene. Bill Frisell too. I love a lot of Frisell stuff. You know the my Benson thing, which really doesn't sound like it, is Port Royal Dance.
I like that too. It's good and nice.
Well, if you're familiar with Florida, then you know Port Royal. I actually wrote that tune in the States, and it was more of I was going through the right hand, trying to do that Benson picking thing, because he does a whole different thing that I was brought up doing.
Yeah.
And I was messing around with that and kind of with the groove, the intro groove and the solo section groove, and came up with that tune, which I actually like, and it's usually the first tune we start out with when we play live, when the quartet plays and we do my stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of the Benson thing, but you know, maybe if we're going to listen to another, I'd like everybody to kind of hear, well, maybe Moho Hatsu.
Yeah,
or
let's do that one.
Moho first, and then Moho.
Okay.
I don't know which ones you've played already. You've played the big vocal tune already. Did you?
Yes, both of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
So Mahu Hasu and what was that?
The last track, it should be the last one.
Right, the last one. Montebeone. I can't even spell.
Montebeone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's called the Mount. I think it translates to Mountain of the Peacocks.
Yeah, because I was going to ask how you pronounced that one. That was the.
Yeah, because I was looking, I was like, okay, I'm not sure. I'm doing it my version, but I don't know if it was doing it correctly or not.
You say it. I think you say it good. Say it.
Me?
Yeah.
Montebeone.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Go Grizz.
I'll get reprimanded later, you know. But yeah,
I'd rather have your wife say it because I know it's per town. So.
Yeah, but yeah, so maybe those two, or I don't know which one you want to do first. Mohu Hatsu has violin, and that was all tracked. No live. I mean, most of the rhythm section on the rest of the tunes were played live.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Which I really like. I like that because I like the interaction kind of thing.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Which I think is important. But
okay, well we'll go ahead and start out with Mahu Hasu, and then we'll play some of the other ones we just talked about by the following that, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
Okay.
Let's see. So listeners, get ready. Check this out, and we'll be right back. So keep it locked right here.
You know who else I met in Italy he was like so cool. He's from New Jersey. The organist, I can't remember his name.
I hate when that happens.
Lonnie Smith. Dr. Lonnie Smith. Lonnie Smith, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he would play every night at 12 o'clock, 12 to 1, 1:30 at a special venue for the 21 days. Okay. And he was great. He stayed in the same hotel, and he was playing, I think Peter Bernstein was playing guitar with him. It was amazing. And it was just trio. And so he influenced me, and I kept in touch with him. It was breakfast, and I was down eating breakfast in the hotel with another one of the guitar players that was from Berkeley there, and I had a shirt from Teaneck, New Jersey, from a music store, and he said, "Hey, Teaneck." And
I like that, Teaneck.
Yeah.
Michael goes to me. He goes, "He's talking to you, Dave," and I look over and it's Lonnie Smith, the organist, and I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Hey, you from Teaneck?" I said, "No. I'm from New Haven, but I live in Boston. We're teaching here at Berkeley." Yeah, he was very cool. I sat and had breakfast with him, and awesome. Then I've been in touch with him. You know, I'd love to get him to play on some stuff. Mm-hmm. So this summer I talked to some other people about some different stuff. Kenwood was great, getting Kenwood to play on a recording. So, but
cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we are back, Ken. Man, tell us a little bit more about the one that I couldn't pronounce very well. Yeah.
Montebeone or Mokohatsu?
Well, actually, both of them, because I actually played all three of those. That plus those two, and then I played Port Royal Dance as well. Okay.
Well, Montebone was the one it's basically two guitar tracks, and I had recorded those over there, over in Italy, just with the laptop and the interface, and the guitar straight into the interface, and I wasn't really convinced that the quality was up there, and I still sometimes not convinced. I still, but it had what I wanted, and I wanted that feel that I got. So I went to use those tracks, and it has a lot of where it.
Well, wait, hold on, Dave, because we didn't hear you. There's you went totally silent.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
There you go.
There.
Mohuhatsu was different. I wrote that over there, and I had tried it. We played it live, and but it was never recorded. And when I first wrote it, the whole idea was to write something blues oriented, and I would like to write more in that vein or in that style. But I started out to write a blues. I didn't want to write the standard blues, so that started to come together. And like I said, I took kind of more of a rock thing, and then, like I said, we tracked that as opposed to it being played live or the same way we did most of the other tracks on the CD. But so. And that was the one where the only other instrument we had was organ and violin. And she came in and she nailed it. She came in and did. I think she did one of these. She did first take. I think the other one, maybe it was Mohatsu. We did a couple different things because I was looking for for her to double some stuff, and she did a lot more takes than what you're hearing on this, because I kept certain things. And there was everybody else. It's funny, this recording, it was kind of, I took a lot of guitar takes, and I took a lot of different takes, and we were able to take, work with some different, like I said, there was piano on a couple tunes that we took out and had organ. But I was looking for those two tunes, for Mohatsu and 3 Day Week, which, did I send that to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 Day Week has violin on it too, and I was looking for something a little bit different, and that doubling of the melody, and I mean, she takes a great solo too. So that was a little bit different, and like I said, I was influenced by a lot of those fusion kind of bands those fusion bands that used violin, the McLaughlin stuff, and Jean-Luc Ponty.
Yeah.
But so that's that. I think there's another tune on Souvenirs, the one that I did with Kenwood Denard, where there's a more of a straight ahead 12-bar blues called The Change.
Okay.
But there's still a twist to it. It's not your standard kind of jazz or rock groove blues. So I mean, I really, it's like, even now with the new stuff that I'm writing, or some of the 2 new recordings that are going to be out, everything kind of has a twist. I would like to do a CD where I'm doing more standards.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm really waiting for that. I love standard tunes, and every Friday, I mean, with Michael, the duo gig, it's mainly standards. And he's singing a lot. There's a lot of vocals. We do some instrumentals. We do a lot when we do my tunes. We do probably 6 or 7 of my tunes a night when we do the Friday night thing.
Yeah.
But because it's really a listening thing, and it's in a bar area, and it's the 2 of us, we do a lot of standards. So it's very cool standards. But like I said, I would like to do a recording of standards. But what I was getting at is, if I do that, I really want to, arrange them differently, and even with on the gig last night, we try to do tunes different, standard. So that's what I love. I love the vehicles, but I love to do it different. I love the vehicle for improvisation. I mean, that's
absolutely.
But the writing process, like I had talked about, inside out as opposed to drums and bass bottom up, or write a melody first.
Yeah.
Are tunes where I've written melodies first. Some of the new tunes, I have like 2 or 3 new ballads where it was melody first. And I really like the process when it's melody first, on just how I go about harmonizing them to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So that's always kind of a cool play on it. But so I don't know. Has anybody kind of chimed in? Has Michael called in? Nobody's called in.
He hasn't been in the chat room.
I know. But the Port Royal, like I said, Port Royal was written. It's a lot of times I start out with a form. Like I'll say, I want to write an AABA type tune, and that tune was recorded pretty much live. Ida and Paolo was, again, pretty much live, but then there was some guitar stuff that was redone. Infinite Blue, the rhythm section was done live. The guitar, and then the accordion was added. But the whole process of tracking, I mean, we went in the studio and started kind of bottom up with Mohu Hatsu. I had the tune written, and when I write, usually I'll write, you guys, a lead sheet, and here I'm doing it this way now. I'll usually write it out in lead sheet form, you know, this melody and chords, and then a lot of times then I'll have the kind of layering thing or how I want it arranged. So then I'll score it out, and I'll do that for a lot of the tunes. But when we play them, a lot of times I like to just give the lead sheet, because I don't want them. You know, even when we play live, I don't want them played live. I don't want them played live the same way all the time.
Right, you know, it beats. Yeah, I understand that.
Intros and endings, and a lot of times, you know, tempos, grooves, that kind of thing are different. And Mohu Hatsu, we just started when we were in Italy. The piano player Steve Guthers plays harmonica. So he said, "Hey, could we try some?" So we tried it in the apartment and on the intro to the tune. So that the intro kind of now is branded with harmonica in the beginning, real kind of harmonica thing. So we played this fairly large festival, and it was the first time we tried it live. So we walked up to the mic and did the harmonica thing, which was great. So,
what is the meaning behind that title,
Mohu Hatsu? Well, you know, it's interesting because I have more friends than I have a lot of friends over there. So when I was looking for a title for a blues, I was looking for something blues related. You know, like I don't know. I'm trying to think of something blues, like yeah, my baby's gone or something, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I had heard them saying this phrase, and it was always like, yeah, Mohats, and they don't say it like we say it, like Mohu Hatsu.
Yeah.
They say it like Mohats, and I'm going, and there's a bunch of other Italian very bad slangs that sound kind of close to this.
Okay.
So what are you saying? So they said no. And I heard him say it when we were going to play. Well, you know, we get done from a break, and he said, "Oh, Hatsu, let's go do it." Or it's time. And so that kind of struck me. And most of the times when I said it, he said, "Dave, don't say that." I'm going, and then I'd say, I get it mixed up with the kind of Italian slang. So he said, "Oh no," and then he wrote it down for me, the saxophone player, Sal Ursino, who is the saxophone player I use quite a bit over there, and I said, and it stuck, so I used it. So yeah, so it would be nice if it had some kind of blues context, but you know, the next CD will have. Yeah, I mean, I've even started titling some of the funk stuff I'm writing, so and it's got some interesting titles. I won't get into that right now. But yeah, I already told 3-day week. I was looking for a title, and that's kind of minor blues-ish kind of thing. And you know, somebody said, you know, you work 3 days a week, you hardly work. So I said, okay, 3-day week is good. Now I work two. But that's another thing, you know. So I have a lot of time, so I'm doing a lot of writing, and it's great. Just practice time too. It's great.
Well, time is very valuable. It's always good to have it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and my sister is a writer. My sister writes children's books and she was on Reading Rainbow years ago. And and we always talk about the time thing and having the time to actually sit and write. And I know a lot of writers. I know a lot of all my friends write, and you know, I tell my students too that it's a lot of times first class they say, and it's arranging class or a production class, they say, how many of you write original music? And a lot of the projects I'm grading right now are original tunes. I think it's great I think it's important for musicians to write. I don't care what level you're at.
Right.
You know,
very important.
Whatever it is, you know. And I said I have books. I have books and pages all over the house of snippets of stuff I have written. Sure. I don't record anything. People will say, well, do you record anything? You record it? I used to have you guys remember cassettes?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I used to have a cassette player. You know what I am going to buy? I'm buying one of those Tascam digital recorders. So, but yeah, so I would do that kind of thing. But I tend to write everything down, and it's close. A lot of times I'll come back and I'll go, wow. Yeah,
after you've been, yeah, exactly.
But then there's been times I come back and I'll go, what was that? What am I thinking? You know, stopped drinking years ago, so it, you know, I never come back. I don't have any excuses, but you know, the writing's an important factor, I think. But we're talking about the retirement thing, you know. So I'm looking into management and booking. I you know, it's like a lot of musicians back, you know, to think I got married, I had kids, both my kids graduated from Berkeley, and now I've moved on. My son moved to Nashville and got involved in some of the music stuff, but is now teaching martial arts, and
wow.
And my daughter who was a music major and music business, who was assistant manager of a fairly well-known jazz club. I saw her hand a paycheck to Ron Carter. Really? I saw her pay John Abercrombie. I saw her pay just a lot of people. Wow. But and the cool factor was I was able to get in for free. But
yeah, exactly. Take advantage.
But like the family is kind of moved on to their own things. So now it's giving me time. So you know, I'd like to get management. I'd like to get management in Europe. All the things I've been booking over there have been on my own or with friends in Italy. So you know, maybe the next time we talk, or hopefully we'll talk before, but there'll be some management. And like I said, Nicole has been great. Nicole Roberts has been great putting together the website. You're going to see the website's going to change. Okay. I don't know if you guys got to see my website.
Yeah, I have. I've been and visited. Sure did.
And the website is great because it has all the old stuff.
Right.
The old stuff. I mean, which we still play a lot. And I really love a lot of those tunes.
Yeah, that was because when I went to it, that's what I was really impressed about. I was like, wow, he's got like all these other different styles and things that are going on. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's a real what's the word? It's tough to be. You know, I think, and I tell my students, you got to be versed. You got to listen to everything. You get students and they're just into the rock thing, or they're just into the jazz thing, and you know, and in Berkeley there's a lot of different groups where they're like into this thing, they're into the jazz thing, they're, you know, and I think to be a working musician, you have to listen to everything.
Yes,
I believe that too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and to be versatile. And I find sometimes it's you're trapped. I'm going, I'm writing again like that. But I want to write a more straight ahead jazz thing, or, you know, and I love so many people that are playing out there. I just I've been talking a little bit. Do you guys know Chris Standring?
Yeah. I remember him. In fact, long time ago, I used to actually be in contact with him.
Yeah, I'd love to get more. I'd love to talk to some of those guys, and get into some of that. Like some more of the smooth jazz or really groove jazz, I call it. You know, there's a lot of guys at Berkeley that are doing it, and it's quite successful at it. I mean, there are like incredibly successful professors at Berkeley.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, there at your that Berkeley there where you're at, Boston, do you guys have like any like major like showcase things that goes on there as far as like?
All the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
I can imagine.
This goes on 24/7. Yeah, I mean, and the level of musicianship is incredible.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's another thing. I've been blessed to be able to be there. And it's interesting. So I went undergrad, and it took me a long time to get through undergrad because I quit college quite a few times, either play or I was just studying with somebody. And then shortly after I got married, we had our Gabriella, my daughter, and then I went back to school for my master's.
Oh, cool.
To New England Conservatory, and I was a much better student. Yeah, I was a much better student, so I got my master's, and then 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, I had the job at Berkeley.
Oh, sweet.
So it was cool, and you know, so it was cool in that factor, but I guess now I'm ready to really, at this age, go out and kind of do what I stopped doing. Not really stopped doing, because I've always played, you know. I've always played, but I would like to tour more.
Yeah.
You know, I would really like to get down to Texas. I'd like to get down south more. I'd like to kind of get involved more in the smooth groove jazz thing. Find some producers or agents that could help more in that. You know, but it's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, you know, but yeah, I mean, and it's hard as a teacher. I mean, you know, you're sitting in front of students and you're churning out, you know, monster musicians, and there's only so much live music around.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was growing up, it's like I told you, growing up in New Haven, yeah, there was music all over the place, and there were you could go to sessions and sit in. There was always sessions and great music to hear. I mean, be it jazz, be it rock, be it blues stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's not around. I mean, there's not a lot of that anymore. But like you said, there are at Berkeley. All through the, you know, students are up 24/7. They don't sleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's stuff going on down there 24/7. And I've been to other schools, like even in Europe. I've given clinics to other smaller schools there, and I've been asked to kind of do some stuff during the summer and do some. And I'd love to do that. I'd love to do some more administrative stuff at some smaller school. Curriculum, setting up curriculum.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, but again, it's tough turning out students, and there's not a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I you know, got a house, got some cars, got some kids. It's worked out. I mean, the only thing I really have going is too much hair. The hair is out of control right now.
Yeah, you keep messing with it too, which makes me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, try to keep it. You know, it's like, yeah, gotta keep kind of branding look.
Well, just be glad you still got hair, because a lot of people don't have some.
You guys look great. Hey, this, like my wife goes, could you shave? And I'm going. Yeah. So what? I'm trying to think if there's anything I haven't talked. Oh, ginseng. I think at one time I was, I think somebody told me, yeah. I was talking about the brain. Somebody said, yeah, you need to take more ginseng. Oh, over in Italy they have ginseng in the espresso.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about that?
I've heard something about that.
Well, I don't drink coffee, so.
Yeah, so you can get ginseng coffee.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you get that little coffee hit.
And then that little feed to the brain.
I actually think you're hitting better, but yeah. So that's why I named that one. But have you played everything? Have you played, let me see. Obsidian Beach you played. I guess the only thing you haven't played is Ginseng or 3-Day Week. Yeah,
those are two.
Right.
In fact, I was going to do that right after we go off the break.
Okay.
We're actually to that time. So, man, just want to thank you, man, for hanging out with us and sharing all that today with us.
Well, for years we've talked about this, and she's been, I originally called Griselda because I think I was looking for management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, and I said, and I saw her on Facebook, and I said, wow, I'm going to contact her. Mm-hmm. And that's how it started. And she goes, no, I'm not into that, but I do this, and it's like, cool. Well, we should maybe talk about a little different angle we could do if I talk again. Mm-hmm. We should, maybe I'll get a couple guys in the band, or I'll get some other musicians, and we kind of.
Yeah. That'd be great.
I'm married to Italian, or maybe it's Italian.
Yeah, it's that Italian thing, a Hispanic thing too, because we talk with our hands.
Yeah. Hope someday I meet you guys. I like the way you do this. Ray, you're not talking to me. No.
He's got a lot of noise in the background right now with his family.
I got grandkids, so that's why I'm not really saying too much, because man, look here.
Listen, but what I'll do is send me I don't know, somewhere around I might have an address, but I'll send a couple CDs, or I'll send a hard copy of the CD and either a thumb drive or I'll burn some CD. I don't even know if I have copies of like older things, but you know what I'll do? I'll burn a DVD or maybe a thumb drive would be best or something.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll put my address in. Just be looking on your Skype. I'll put my address in there.
Yeah, and go on my website. My email's there, or it's my Berkeley email.
Yeah, and tell everybody before we leave. Tell everybody where they can how they get to your website and all that stuff.
Okay, my website is davehowardmusic.com, and you can find me on Facebook. It's Dave Howard. And then there's another site called the Dave Howard Initiative, which is more of the band. But I'll probably I would really like the website to start taking off, and maybe a little less of the Facebook thing. And I'm on Instagram. I don't even know how to. I think it's Dave Howard Guitar on Instagram. But yeah, again, I'm really hoping to the first of the year, this year being taken off and some management and booking and a lot more going on. I mean, there's gigs, but not like what I want, or not. I shouldn't say that. I would like to get more happen. So,
well, I'm sure you will, and just definitely keep us posted on what you got going on, and we'll definitely have you come back and hang out with us some more.
Yeah, and I'll have some new music, or maybe we could even talk old music and more. So,
yeah.
But a pleasure.
It'll be new to us and to our listeners. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So
next time you come on, I'll be a little bit more livelier. Because I get live now.
Ray, check out my listen to some of the stuff on the site. Okay. I'd love to hear you guys some feedback and stuff. And I'd love to post this on my website and post some about you guys.
Sure.
So you get a lot of people listen or more people listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I love the opportunity to be able to do this, you guys. So enjoy the nice weather down there.
We will.
I just typed, if you look in your Skype, I typed my address in there.
On the Skype chat.
See it in the chat?
I have to, let me see, I have to kind of move away from this to kind of...
Yeah, it's in your chat on Skype.
Okay, cool, yeah. All right, good.
Okay.
You see, now you see your mug on there I took earlier?
Yeah, I saw a shot. Wait till I fix the hair. We're still on?
No, we're still on. Yeah, because we're saying our goodbyes, and then we're going to end with the other two tracks before we go off the air completely.
If you didn't get through all the larger vocal thing, do that. But 3-day week, I'm sorry you got to end with those, but I should have kept one like Port Royal to end with. But yeah, cool. So pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
And everybody.
I'd love to post it on my site. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll post the link on your site when it gets into archive.
Yeah.
Anybody in the chat room?
Yeah, we had like about 5-6 people that were active on the chat, and people just listening, not being in the chat.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had some people there.
All right.
All right. Well, everybody have a great weekend, and of course, be sure to hang out with us next week when we come back, and of course, we'll keep you posted on things that are changing or all that kind of good stuff. And we want to thank our guest, Dave Howard, for hanging out with us today as well. And
thank you, guys. Thank you. It was a pleasure. This was great. Let's do it again. Do it again.
We will.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Okay. Ray and Grizz.
All right.
Well,
take us out.
Y'all just have a good weekend. I'm gonna get ready and start enjoying the outside because it's sure warm outside today.
Okay, listen, I'll be right down. I'll be right down. Okay.
Okay.
Kind of like Florida weather.
Yeah, it is. Well.
Yeah. It's cold. It was chilly this morning, but it warmed up. It's gonna be warm all weekend.
Well, I was like I said earlier, I had gone out to CVS and bank, and it was like, no, it was mild. When I say mild, I don't mean warm. So.
Okay, my turn. All right. Before I actually say goodbye, I just want to, say how sorry to hear that another legend, we lost another icon in the music business, Nancy Wilson, jazz singer, and I was so sad to hear that she passed.
Yeah.
So, sending my thoughts to her family and friends. All right, peeps. Thanks again for joining us. Chat room, always a pleasure to have you guys in there. Guys, have a great weekend. Be safe out there, and we will see you next week.
Okay. We'll see you next week. Have a great one.
All right. Ciao.